Chassidic gems on Parshas Emor. It says in the pasuk that the Kohanim l'nefesh lo yitama bi'amav. L'nefesh lo yitama, that a Kohen is not allowed to defile himself for a dead person. L'nefesh, for a dead soul, dead person. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah are telling us here that we can't overlook even one soul. Every soul is so important. Every soul. The nefesh lo yitama. We shouldn't lose one soul that's becoming tomei, that's doing wrong things. We have to go out and be makarev every single nefesh lo yitama, that he shouldn't become impure. We should be zoche to be makarev people. Amen v'yamen. Every single one. Chassidic gems on, continuing Chassidic gems on Parshas Emor, on the same pasuk, l'nefesh lo yitama bi'amav, which means a Kohen should not defile himself to a dead person bi'amav, among his people, which Rashi explains, while there are other non-Kohanim that can do it. Then, if there are non-Kohanim that could do it, the Kohen is not allowed to defile himself. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah translate ba'amav, not to be among his people, but ba'amav is like gecholim oimamais, like flickering coals, oimamais. That when you serve Hashem, it should l'nefesh lo yitama bi'amav. A person should not defile his own soul by being flickering without any warmth, without any enthusiasm when he serves Hashem. The nefesh lo yitama, you with your nefesh, you should not make yourself tomei, make yourself impure by being bi'amav, by being flickering. You should, when you serve Hashem, it should be with enthusiasm, with warmth, with your whole soul. We should be zeicher to this. Amen. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Emor in the same pasuk, l'nefesh lo yitama bi'amav, that while there is a dead person among his people, if there's a dead person among his people, which means there are other non-Kohanim that can take care of the burial, then the Kohen lo yitama bi'amav, he should not, the nefesh lo yitama, for a dead person, he should not defile himself if there are other people that are non-Kohanim that can take care of it. Rashi comes along and says, Yotza meis mitzvah. This excludes an unattended dead body. Nobody's there, no relatives. Then even a Kohen may defile himself to bury that person. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah tell us, if somebody, when it comes, Yotza mes mitzvah, this comes to exclude mes mitzvah. If there's, mes mitzvah means where there's a mess, where there's a dead person, and there's nobody to bury him, it's called a mes mitzvah. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah tell us, if a person's Torah and mitzvahs are dead, mes mitzvah, when it comes to Torah and mitzvahs, he's dead. No warmth, no enthusiasm. That person, we have to try for him. We have to try for him and see to bring him back to Yiddishkeit. If he's a mitzvah, when it comes to a mitzvah, he's dead. It's a mitzvah to bring him back to Yiddishkeit and put him on the right track. We should be zeicher to be makarev levavos la'avinu shabashamayim. Amen. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Emor. The pasuk says, "Loi yikrachu korcha b'roisham." They shouldn't make baldness upon their head. Don't tear out your hair for a person that was nifta. And Rashi says not only Kehanim, even Yisrael. That's not permitted to tear out your hair for mourning for a dead person. That's the simcha, because Kereach means bald. The Chassidic Torah are telling us Lo Yikrachu Korcham means we're talking about Koirach here. Be careful not to do like the deeds of Koirach and his Adosai, his congregation, that they made a rebellion Berosham against their Lo Yikrachu Korcha Berosham. They shouldn't make a rebellion like Koirach did against their leaders. We should be zeicher to respect our leaders and not to do like Koirach v'Hadosai. Amen. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Emor, the pasuk of Sfira, Usfartem lochem mimochras haShabbos. You should count Sfira. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah have a new translation for Sfira, Sfartem, Usfartem lochem. That you should make a boundary. Sapor is a boundary. When you come to your lochem, Usfartem lochem, when you come to your things that you desire, your temptations, you should put a boundary around them, where you can't break it. See to curb any desires that you have that will take you away from doing what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. Take all your lochems, take all your personal desires, and put a gevul, put a sapor, put a boundary around them that you can't break it, and you have to only do what Hashem wants. We should be zeicher to this. Amen. Sikum, a summary of the Hashkofas HaTorah that we learned from Chassidic gems. We learned that we shouldn't be mevater even on one Jew. We shouldn't overlook. We shouldn't look away. We should do everything we can to save even one Jew. Every Jew, we must be makar of him to Yiddishkeit. We also learned that when we daven and learn and serve Hashem, it shouldn't be like a flickering lamp. We should be a lamp that burns with a desire and enthusiasm to put your heart and soul into serving Hashem. We also learned that, similarly, we learned that there's such a concept as mes mitzvah. Usually it means if a person is dead and he has nobody to bury him, it's a mitzvah to bury this mace. But we were learning if somebody is, when it comes to mitzvahs, to serving Hashem, if he's dead totally without any warmth, without any enthusiasm, that is a mitzvah to bring that person back. It's a mitzvah to bring that person back. We also learned that we shouldn't be like Koirach and his congregation who rebelled against Moshe Rabbeinu. We have to respect our leaders and honor them, and we should be zeicher to this. Amen. And the last thing we learned was that we must curb all our lochems, all our temptations. We must curb them and see not to go beyond this fence, this imaginary fence, to control ourselves, not to become subject to temptations to do against the will of Hashem. We should be zecher to this. Amen.